Welcome to Frido. So just begin to relax, and we're going to begin with a small meditation followed by the Journey of Frido poem. So just begin to relax yourself and get settled. And if you need to move or adjust yourself at any time, feel free. And I just invite you to close your eyes and begin to observe your body sensations, your breathing, and any thoughts that may or may not come into the mind. Just gently scan through your body from the top of your head all the way down to the tips of your toes. Simply observing, noticing any feelings, any sensations that may arise in any one of your body organs or parts of your body. Notice if there's any tension or any relaxation. And as you continue to breathe, you can now expand your awareness out into the room or the space that you're in. Just noticing the temperature of the air on your skin and any sounds around. Just continuing to breathe comfortably as your awareness expands out into the town that you live in or your surrounding area. Just observing how that feels. As your attention expands further still out into the world, into the whole world. Noticing the atmosphere, the feelings in the world, with all its people, animals, plants, different races and religions, different age groups, physical abilities, different cultures. Just noticing and observing the world. Maybe your attention goes to one particular country or culture, or perhaps nothing, just a feeling. And as you continue to breathe comfortably, expand your awareness now out into the universe, the infinite universe of ever-ending space. Just notice the atmosphere, the energy of the universe. And you can just float around for a while. You can float around the universe as long as you want. Notice how that feels. Maybe you'll go somewhere, or maybe you'll stay in one place. And when you're ready, in your own time, you can gently begin your journey back into the world, back into the town, back into your space, and finally returning back into your body. once again noticing your breathing, noticing any thoughts, and noticing any body sensations. And while you're in this particular state, I'm going to read out the Friedo Journey. It's a poem, The Journey of Friedo. Something stirs from deep inside. It twists and turns 1,000 times. It pulls and stretches into shape. A figure shows and moves around. A hand supports it from below until it feels and begins to grow. Building blocks are put in place until the figure is nice and safe. The figure starts to create its own, from light and darkness, vibrating tone. Birth and death begin to rise. The figure splits to compromise. The figure then creates some space. Now life and death begin their race, until the space has found a way to stabilize and have its say. Space creates a home for all, the separation of large and small, of water, fire, earth and air, weight and lightness, cold and brightness, pain and sorrow, love and joy. Out of this space comes girl and boy. The figure has journeyed through time and space, feeling as though it has won the race, looking around only to find a universe of an amazing kind. The training's been tough, it's been testing and rough. The figure is ready, it's complete and steady. Back to the source, the figure must run, for now the journey has just begun. Hey, welcome to Friedo Journey to Freedom. Today we're going to work with this card. It's called Nothing. It's part of the crown chakra. It connects to the more kind of universal energy. And you can see it's just an egg. It's where everything comes from. Everything in this world comes from this energy. So if you want to close your eyes and just relax, I'm going to read the card out first, and then we can go straight into our exercises. Something may be happening on the inside that may look like nothing from the outside. In order to create, we must activate something and keep activating it until something happens. Nothing exists because the idea of nothing is. To understand nothing means not to label anything, not to give anything an idea of what it is. To know that all is perfect, it really is as simple as that. I am decisive. guide the energy of your symbol, direct it, teach it, and show it what you want it to do. Be clear and decisive. Have faith in your situation and know that all is perfect. So when you're ready, come back into the space, and we're going to work with our mind exercise in Frido. It's called Nothing Leads, so it's about leading, guiding. So I want you to choose an object to represent your symbol. The word you've chosen for this journey is called your symbol in Frido. So choose some object that can represent it, whether it's a pillow or a bag or a chair or an item of jewellery. And now I want you to guide, it sounds strange, but guide it and show it how to do something. So maybe how to move. So actually guide it. How would you guide a pillow to sit down or to move or to jump? So it sounds very strange, but have a little practice, because we're practicing guiding our symbol in our life. So as silly as it might seem, just have a feel into it. Get it to move or to do something that's simple and safe enough for it to do, and repeat that. Just have a little practice. So I might get my symbol, my card, to just kind of, move up, move to the side, maybe sit down or lie down or tilt itself. So we're practicing guiding our symbol. It can be very powerful. Once you've had a little play around with that concept and feeling, we're now going to go into more of a body exercise. It's called Nothing Strange. It's far from strange, but nothing strange. So find a bag, get yourself some kind of bag or something heavy. A bag's normally good, that you can put some weight in it. So we're going to be doing some kinesiology, muscle testing, and also cell memory exercises where we're going to reprogram or program the body cells to become more powerful by being able to use your symbol in a more powerful way. So find a bag or a container or something heavy that you can kind of test yourself by trying to lift it in this exercise. So often I'll use a bag, I'll put some books in it or some stones or bricks and make sure it's quite a bit heavy. So not crazy heavy, but heavy enough. And just lift the bag or lift the item. Could be a heavy like a table or something. You might just try and lift it with one hand, with your physical strength. What you're trying to do here is to make sure you've got a bit of a test, a physical test. So it's not going to be something impossible. You don't go to the gym and go into the heaviest weight where it's no way you're going to lift it. But make sure it's heavy enough so you feel like, yeah, this is quite heavy. If it's not heavy enough, and it's for example a bag you're lifting, then try using less fingers, like maybe 4 fingers or 3 or 2, just so that you've got a bit of a strain there, a bit of a resistance where this is quite hard to actually lift. And now I want you to imagine and feel that you are your actual symbol. So this is a bit of a challenge. So if your symbol, you've chosen the word, for example, fear or negative or anger or money or someone's name or something positive, love, joy, connect yourself to that symbol. Just imagine you're representing that word. So if I'm choosing fear, I'm now representing fear. Don't overthink this. So I'm just representing fear because that's my symbol. Or I'm representing money because that's my symbol I'm choosing. So this is about embodying our symbol. If it's a negative word or positive word, embodying that word is actually powerful. When we embody something, it's like putting on an item of clothing it becomes ours. So even if it's something like fear or anger or anxiety, when we put that item of clothing on, like a jacket or a t-shirt, we're in control of it, aren't we? You know, if this is fear, it's not in control of me. If I stand up and walk over there, it comes with me. And if it's love or something joyful, it's the same. So embodying is really important. So whatever your symbol is, negative or positive, tune into it. Start to feel like, yes, I'm representing that, my symbol. And now what the challenge here is to keep that connection. Keep that belief and faith that in this exercise you are now your own symbol. And while you're in that energy, I want you to lift your object. Try and lift it now. But remember, it's not about whether you can lift it or not lift it. It's about keeping that energy as your symbol. You are your symbol. That's the challenge in the exercise. Don't lose that. And now try and lift it, but keeping yourself in that energy as you're lifting it. Don't allow any pain or resistance destroy or break your connection to you are your symbol. Don't allow anything to break that connection. If you find it's too difficult to lift, then use more hands, use another hand or use more fingers. Don't overburden yourself, but just try and see what happens. Notice if it's easier or harder. When you connect to your symbol, it should be easier to do. Okay, so that will tell you if you connected to your symbol. If you're finding it hard to do, it just means your symbol's not strong enough. So you need to connect with it more and more. If you're finding it harder to do, then connect to your symbol more and more and more and more, so you can really begin to connect to it and feel it more. So once you've done that, have a practice. Maybe choose something, if it was too difficult, choose something lighter. If it was like comfortable for you to do, choose something heavier, or use less hands or fingers to do it, so it becomes more of a challenge. Like the challenge becomes harder. So just notice what the difference is there. You can also use this technique to do other things like lifting things in nature, doing press-ups, you know, something that's physically challenging. You know, even running, when you're doing a run and you're hitting that point when it's getting physically challenging, you can then practice tuning into your symbol, any symbol, this symbol or another symbol, and practice the same concept, and notice the difference as you're connected to your symbol, how much easier the challenge becomes. So we're going to now move on to the final part of this journey. It's called Nothing Breathes. It's a breathwork technique. So you can choose an object for this. So again, you can choose whether it's your bag that you've chosen or something else. It could be, I choose this little freezy because it's squeezy. And this can represent my symbol that I'm working with through this breathwork exercise, ritual, I would call it. So find an object, whether it's a necklace, a ring, something you can kind of hold. It doesn't have to be squeezy. It can be anything that you can kind of hold in your hand, an item of clothing, anything you want that you're saying that represents my symbol. That's all you're saying. If you're not sure what, you just pick anything. And now just begin to relax and just start to breathe for the moment. Have your object in your hand that represents your symbol, and just begin to breathe. Closing your eyes can be very helpful for this. And as you breathe, as you're breathing in, and as you're breathing out, just focus on your breath. And as you breathe out, squeeze your object. You can breathe through your nose or your mouth. As you breathe out, on the out breath, you're squeezing your object. On the in breath, you're releasing your object.
It's nice, isn't it? No, she said, well, he didn't want to come out of water.
Keep on doing that. On the out breath, you're squeezing, and on the in breath, you're releasing. Out breath, squeeze. In breath, release. And just continue with this until you get comfortable with this way of doing the breath. Breathing out and squeeze, breathing in and releasing. So you can imagine your object is almost representing your lungs. As your lungs breathe in, your lungs expand. As your lungs breathe out, they squeeze, they contract. So we're matching this breath. In breath, release the object. Out breath, squeeze the object. Now you can continue for a minute if you want. You need to stop the video. Otherwise we're going to continue with this breath work into the next stage. As you're continuing to breathe in this way, I want you to put your attention on yourself breathing slightly ahead of your squeeze and release of your object. So as you're breathing in and you're releasing the object, just make sure you're breathing in slightly ahead of your releasing your object. And as you're breathing out and you're going to squeeze your object, make sure you breathe out just before you squeeze. So the squeeze is following you breathing. You're leading this breathwork session. You're leading the squeeze and the release. So as I breathe out, I start breathing out and then I start to squeeze. So I'm following my out breath. As I breathe in, I go first with my breath and then follow with the releasing. And try and match the speed if you can as well. As I breathe out slowly, I begin to squeeze slowly. And as I breathe in slowly, I begin to release slowly. And as I stop my breath, my squeeze is still going a little bit because it's catching up. And practice this for a while until you get used to it. It becomes easier. And then if you're really good at this, you get really good at it, you can play around with your breath. And you can start breathing a little bit faster or slower or holding the breath. I might breathe out and suddenly stop and stop my freezy, stop this object squeezing. But that comes after some practice. So enjoy it. The longer you go, the longer you go with it, the deeper you go with this. So pause the video if you want. Carry on exploring it in your own way. There's no right or wrong how fast the breath is going or how slow. The main object is, the breath work, breathing out and you're squeezing your object, and breathing in you're releasing, and your breath is leading the exercise. You're going first ahead of your squeeze and ahead of your release. So once you've kind of enjoyed that, you can stop the video. You can start the video and we'll just finish the journey. So hope you enjoyed that whole journey. I want you now to write down what you feel you've learnt from your journey today. Just anything that comes to mind you feel like you can take away. Don't overthink it. Don't think, oh, it's got to be connect to my symbol or not connect to my symbol. It will be very relevant. Sometimes the journey can trigger something for us which has got nothing to do with our symbol, but it will trigger something else that's very vitally important. So just have a think about what you can take away. What's the most important thing that you've learned from your journey today, whether it's to do with the breath work, to do with the exercise, lifting the bag, or anything else you've heard through the reading. And I want you to write that down, keep it short, just a nice clean learning sentence. Once you've done that, I want you to now create an affirmation from that. So shrink it down, turn it into like a 2 to 4 word maximum affirmation. So an affirmation is when the way you write it, it's like you've done it already. So if my learning was, I learnt that by connecting to my symbol I can become very strong, I would want to turn that into an affirmation like I am strong. This kind of thing. So you've already got it, you're doing it, you have it. So see how you can do with that. Have a think about it, and it should feel powerful when you say it. You might feel uncomfortable saying it because you might not believe it, but this affirmation is about getting your brain, almost brainwashing yourself into telling your brain, and especially your subconscious, that you already got it. I am strong. And now your subconscious believes it, and it is. That's half of the journey. The next part of the journey is to create a demonstration, a practice where you can practice that affirmation. So if I've said I am strong, what can I do? What action can I do now or tomorrow or the next day that I can prove that I can demonstrate I am strong? Maybe I'll say, okay, I'm going to do 20 press-ups now, or I'm going to lift something heavy. Or strength might be, I want to confront a situation that's going on in my life. It might not be a physical strength. It could be like more of a psychological. I need to confront something. I need to do something. So it's an action. It's actually doing something or saying something. It's an action that you can say, hey, that proves to me that my learning affirmation actually works. And that will get the body to also, not just the mind, believe it and know it is true, but the body will know it's true. When you do your 20 press-ups, the body will know you're strong. Okay, see how you go with it. Keep practicing. Finally, give yourself a percentage from 1 to 100 of like how much you know your symbol that you chose today. So the symbol you chose, the word you chose, if you've got like complete power with it, over it, you can use all its power, then you would give yourself a high percentage. If you feel like you're not sure, you've learned something, you feel like you've got some power with it, you can use some of its power, then give yourself maybe a lower percentage. So have a feel into that, what percentage you are. It's really good to check in. So I hope you enjoyed it. Remember, all the journeys are free. There's 75 rituals, journeys, readings on Freedo. So I hope you enjoy that. If you need to go deeper, obviously get in touch anytime. We do our beautiful retreats around the world. We have live webinars, group webinars going on all the time, and private sessions. So have a beautiful day and a beautiful evening, and remember, keep living the dream.